On this episode, the dreaded cab corners. It's time to go ahead and cut out the old cab corners that are rusty and crusty. We'll go ahead and weld in a new one. Fabricate it so it fits good. Let's get right to it.
Completely different from the old incandescent. Wow, that looks nice.
Now here we are up underneath the truck. You can see the typical Swiss cheese look of the old cancer on the steel. This is nasty. I'm going to tape a line, a cut line right along here. It's about 4 inches up from the bottom edge, and looks like it needs to curve around here. This is about 2.5 inches from this edge to this edge. I'm going to cut this out and cut in a piece of steel that'll go. This looks pretty solid here, really solid. So really, I'd like to put in a piece from here to here on the inner back cab corners.
Well, when I first got the truck, I didn't want to do anything about the holes in the cab corners, so I went ahead and put some of that foil insulation down there, stuffed it down into the holes so that I wouldn't get any dust coming up, I wouldn't get any sound coming up, and it worked pretty good, but I'm going to have to take that out of there now. Here's what the cab corners look like now. There it is, see? That's just eaten up. I don't know if you can see the foil down in there, but nope, can't quite see it. But it's up in here. Wait, what's this? What is that? This was up in the corner of the cab corner. Oh, you know what that is? That is Bondo. Oh my goodness. That is old fossilized piece of turd Bondo. This must have been from a previous repair. What was it? Was filling space? Did they actually paint it? No, that's rust right there, but it was right up against the metal. Look at this fingerprint. You can see when they put it into the corner and they were stuffing it in there, you can see the fingerprint where they were pushing it down in there. What a turd. What a hairball. Oh my goodness. Okay, well that's not going back in there, but maybe I should use that like for a paperweight or something. That's kind of cool looking. Look, you can still see the gray on it, and then the rust on the other side. Wow, you never know what you're going to find, right? Okay, moving on.
Okay, there, you can see the area I'm going to go ahead and cut out. Let's get right to it. Upside down work is not my favorite, but I went ahead and cut a bunch of it out of there. You can see that nice clean line along that edge there. A little metal edge right there. Is that 18 gauge steel? Looks like it's pretty thick in this section, so I should be able to weld to that no problem. Now on this edge here, did I cut into the footwell on the other side? It looks like I might have. Well, look at what I did. Okay, mistake number one. That'll be the first of many. I can guarantee it, but oops on that one. Oh well, a couple little tack welds, that should be fine, right? Oh man. Okay, now you're looking at the outer back cab corner. Before we were looking at the inner back cab corner. You know, here's the bed surrounding it. I don't think I'm going to have to take the bed off. I might be able to weld right here. I'm certainly going to be able to cut right here. Going back into this corner here, this guy's kind of in the way, but if I'm cutting it at an angle here, because all of that looks pretty good, I don't think that's going to be a problem. Okay, so I've taped this guy on here, and you know, that's going to be my cut line, and that's about the same as it was over on the other side. So yeah, I don't want to take that bed off there anyways. Look at those old bolts. That is nasty. I might have a hard time getting that apart anyways. Hey, what's this? There's a bottle cap up in there. Okay. I have not seen that one before. Must have come in through one of the stake holes on the top of the bed. Okay, I'll go ahead and cut that off next.
Well, it's been a couple of months since I worked on the cab corners. Things have gotten in the way. Truck's back there. I'm going to start in on it again, but just too much time's gone by. You know, life gets in the way. I'm working on a new garage. I'm going to put a detached garage in here. You can see I've done some work on flattening it out, but that's for another video. I ran into some problems with that because I got to put in a concrete base according to our local county codes. So now it's time to go ahead and work on the truck. I can show the progress I've done so far. Here, check this out. There's the cab corner. You can see I've got some parts chopped into that. Can I get underneath there? There we go. And of course there's the new patch in there. And then underneath here, I've got this guy welded in. Didn't turn out too bad, but now I've got to get this patch over here done and maybe a plate underneath here. So that'll be what I'm working on today. I'll go ahead and get this plate made up, and then I'll need to form in an underneath piece that'd be more horizontal that would go underneath it here, and then weld all that in. Now, I'm not terribly happy with the way this worked out. Booger welds and I don't know, some questionable patching. But it's solid and just needs to be finished. I'm back on the project. Okay, so I've dry fitted in some pieces here. This guy here is in there. It's, you know, it's loose. And this one's going underneath. Now that's going to be kind of like what? I guess you could call that a sill plate. But then I've run into some problems. I've got this hole here. Can you see it? Rust holes, and then up underneath there. So, you know, of course you run into problems. You find things and you fix them. So I'm gonna have to firm up some sort of metal plate for this and cut that out of there and put a plate over the top of that and maybe cut that one out of there, and then I'll be ready to weld. I'm getting much closer, sealing this thing up and calling it good and going over there to the other side. Okay, and just as an aside, in case you were wondering, yeah, that's my wife's yoga mat, or at least it used to be. So I ended up confiscating it, and I don't think she's going to want it back. Okay, well, here's what I got so far. Yeah, look at that. Yep, blew a hole in right there. And there. And there. And I blew another hole in it here. Too hot, too rusty of a metal, whatever. But this was the patch I was going to put in here next, and I was going to be done. But it looks like I've got to put maybe an L-shaped piece in here. And then maybe I'll be done if I don't blow any more holes in the old metal here. Okay, so ready for the last two pieces to go in. I've got this all prepped. It's all stripped and down to bare metal. But this L-shaped piece with some blowout here and some old rust in here, I've got that L-shaped piece cut out and ready to go. Same thing with this one. Now, I wanted to show how I just use a piece of, I don't know, kind of hard paper. Sometimes even a cereal box paper can work. And you trace out the opening that you need. And then you weld that, or I mean, you cut that piece of metal out that's the same shape as this guy. You know, you just trace it out, and then you've got your piece of metal. Then all you have to do is shape it. Same thing with this one here. Let's see, that's the original shape on this one. See there? And I just cut that out, and that ended up being one of my pieces. Easy. Here's my last two pieces here. This is going to go in that lower spot. And there's the original piece that I had used to deform it, to trace it and cut it. And then same thing with that L-shaped piece. This is going to go into that corner where my bad cut was. And this is the piece I had started with to get it, well, part of it anyways, that I started to shape that piece, and then, you know, kind of molded it until I got it just right. Like that. And like that. And that's how you cover mistakes. Okay, on with the welding. Okay, well, going back on old mistakes, now that I'm starting to grind, I went ahead and ground down that old mistake where I had cut right through the fender well. So that's all better now. I'll have to just put a little coat of paint on that. Okay, here it is, all finished off. I've got my seam sealer on it, inside and out, and I'm ready to go ahead and put some paint on there. So this turned out pretty good. Take a look around. It's solid. It's ugly, but hey, it's underneath the vehicle, right? This is the underside. What I wanted was solid, sturdy, and rebuilt with fresh metal, and that's what I got. So here we go. Okay, there it is, freshly painted. Painted it up with some rust reformer paint, and it's solid. It's there. My cab corner is done. Here, check out the outside. Okay, and here's that outside edge. Let's get in front of my light here because I'm jumping underneath. Nice and smooth, all fresh metal, looking pretty darn good. Okay, that's it. Cab corner's done. Ended up being solid. Ended up doing a good job on it. Now that allows me to move on to the other projects that I had. I'm going to be working on the paint. I'm going to be working on, well, Bondo and bodywork first because I got little imperfections here and there, and I'll be able to continue on with Engine Joe. Oh, I wanted you to see, check this out. There is my collection of artifacts. I've got that, well, there's that, I don't know, Engine Joe hairball that came out of the passenger side cab corner and the outside cab corner here. Look at that thing. There's a before, huh? And then this was the inside cab corner. Hey, I hope you enjoyed the video. If you did, hit that subscribe button, and then smash that little bell right there too. That'll give you notifications when I've got new videos that come out. That's it for now with Engine Joe. I'll go ahead and work on the next video and the next project. Thank you for watching.